Hello everyone, welcome to Red Snapper. My name's MJ and this is a very special video where I'll be discussing 25 things that I want to see from Marvel Snap in 2025. Yes, Happy New Year. I hope you had a fantastic one, guys. In this video, we're going to be listing through 25 different things that I'd like to see, and I'm actually putting a survey in the description and the comments, which is basically all of these ideas, and I'd like you to say which ones you want the most. There's not a limit on how many you can vote for, but that would be really cool to see where you guys line up with what I think we should have in the game. There's lots of different stuff in this video, stuff from like the very high level stuff like better card acquisition. That'll be our first discussion right now. But then there's smaller things and there's quick wins, which I think Second Dinner could really do with enhancing the game this year. I'm excited to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Better card acquisition. This is such an obvious one, guys. Obviously, it's something that we've been discussing for a long time, and I've actually just created an entire separate video about this subject, so I won't go into too much detail here, but basically, regularly scheduled series drops and better catch up for new and returning players. Those are really the main things, but I would recommend watching that video that I've just made. Sorry, I'm just going through puberty, so my voice is breaking. No, yeah, I would recommend watching that full-length video because I had lots of good feedback about it and a few bits of bad feedback as well. So controversial subjects. So the number 2 thing I want to say, Spotlight Cash improvements. Again, this is something we discussed in that video, but I'd like to see just Spotlight Caches get a bit better. Maybe duplicate protection, maybe more rewards in the Spotlight Caches, so maybe get some boosters and a special border alongside the new card. Those types of things I think would go a long way to make the experience of spending those valuable keys feel a bit better. Right, now this one is absolutely huge for me. Either a single player mode or a story mode or something that makes the seasons feel a bit more unique and cohesive. At the moment, in my humble opinion, I think the themes for the seasons are kind of like a bit of a veneer. Obviously you get the new cards from each season, which are all obviously linked into the same season. You get the locations, music updates and some like visual changes, but these things don't really come together and really make a season feel particularly unique from like a story perspective, especially when you consider things like at the moment we've got High Voltage running, and High Voltage has got randomly just got like a Lasher card, which is a symbiote, even though we just had a symbiote season a few seasons ago. So it's a bit of a weird one for me. So I'd like to see like a single player mode or a story mode where you go through individual missions which are linked to the season. So maybe like the example I've got on screen here, maybe in an X-Men season you've got like a story mode mission where X-Mansion comes up and like it always gives them Magneto and always gives you Professor X or something, and you then have to find your way through that. Or maybe there's like boss battles where they have more energy than you, that type of thing. And this is the type of mode that could be perennial. It could be in the game and available to all players, and maybe just the paid bundle people get access to more rewards. Maybe there's still rewards for doing it, even if you're a free-to-play player, but you get more if you pay for it. So that sort of thing, I think that would really greatly enhance the seasons in Marvel Snap. Moving on from that, and sort of slightly linked to it though, is rescue missions. Specifically, I'd like to see more civilians in the game. So this would be like rescue missions with civilian rewards. So this would be something like save Gwen Stacy from Brooklyn Bridge or something. Maybe they play an Elektra or a Killmonger or something, and you have to try and find ways to save Gwen Stacy. That could be something. Or maybe like she's on the game board. I've put the example on screen here of just this custom card that I made, which is a Gwen Stacy as a 1/2 activate draw Spider-Man. Because again, like we've seen some of the leaked sort of civilian style characters like J. Jonah Jameson and like, oh, what was the other one we received recently? I can't remember. But anyway, they have these really specific powers, and I think it would be cool to add more civilians to the game that, because they're civilians, they're like not great cards or not considered like great cards that you really would need or that anyone would ever want to spend currency or tokens on or whatever, but they have these really specific abilities and they might be very niche and work well in certain styles of decks. And I just think this would be a cool way to add some flavour to seasons. Another thing somewhat leaning into that as well is puzzles, like puzzle games. So for the example I've got on screen here is get 300 plus power at Mojo World. Maybe in that particular example you'd need to ensure that you have more power than them, and then you play Iron Man and I don't know, Onslaught or whatever, something like that. But these types of puzzle games where it seems hard to get or to fulfill the actual idea of the puzzle, and again, it's just something else that we'll have to do in the game, and that's a subject that we'll come on to later as well. How about game modes with unique rules, either banned lists or specific conditions? The example I've got on screen here is you can only play with X-Men in your deck, so like an X-Men battle mode. That would be really cool. Hell, technically in this example as well, it could be like an all pixels mode. You can only play with pixel cards. But that kind of thing, again, could certainly be tied into the themes of the season, and it would just be another thing that we'd be able to play in the game. Draft mode. This has long been discussed. They are indeed working on it as far as we know. They've mentioned it in their roadmap a few times. In their most recent roadmap, I think they said something like, oh, we just need to figure out exactly how to do it because of the specific archetypes in Marvel Snap, it makes it difficult to consider how to do it or something. I think did they give the example of like discard? Like you wouldn't want a discard card to show up if you were not making a discard deck, but I heard other content creators say that that is literally what draft mode is, and I completely agree. I think they just need to, don't overcomplicate it, just give us some form of draft mood. Yeah, so don't overcomplicate it, just give it to us sort of as soon as possible. And then how about a practice mode? So this would be against bots, and you can choose the level of difficulty of the bot. If you just want to try out a deck, see if the combos work, see if your synergies work in that deck, but you don't want to risk anything, you don't want to risk cubes, and you just want to see how it gets on, maybe a practice mode would be very useful. And I appreciate I'm going through lots of different game modes in this section, but how about a custom game mode? So somewhat similar to the sort of the friendly battle. This is one where you can choose different elements to tweak with the game. So it might be how much energy you start with, it might be banned cards, it might be specific locations that are guaranteed to show up, that kind of thing. So that again, you can have fun doing your own experiments. That would be quite cool. Again, this is something that lots of people have discussed, an auto battler game mode. I've got a screenshot here from like Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I used to play Hearthstone pretty religiously, absolutely loved that game. Yeah, when I sort of always envisioned myself playing the main game of Hearthstone, and when Battlegrounds came out, which, like, if you're not familiar with auto battlers, they basically, I think they all work in a somewhat similar way. You basically have a shop phase where you buy stuff from a shop using the currency that you're given in the game mode for that specific game. Like, you have a limited amount of currency. You build your thing, and then it goes into the auto battling section where everything automatically battles each other, and then you go back to the shop phase. It's almost similar to like rogue. I think it's like similar to like roguelike elements like Balatro as well. That sort of thing. So you're building engines and that kind of cool stuff. I think that's a really fun idea, and I think that could work well and transition well into Marvel Snap. But that really would be something that is completely different. That would require more thought, how they link it in with your collection and customization and all that sort of thing. But it's still something that I would like to see. And finally, I think on the game mode section, just more limited time game modes. I really like stuff like High Voltage, and I'm actually one of the few enjoyers of Deadpool's Diner, it seems. So I like those stuff. Yeah, more of that would be really cool. So, how about some alliance improvements as well? The example I've got on screen here isn't really that serious. It's like play 1 cost cards, 5,000 points, you've got to play 150. Not too serious, to be honest. But that sort of thing would be cool. I just wanted something eye-catching for the thumbnail already. But actually, more specifically, what I'm talking about is higher personal rewards. In our own alliance, we've got this one guy, Jez, who just seems to like hold down the fort every month, and he absolutely smashes it. And I feel a little bit bad that or that myself at least, is lagging behind quite often. But I'd like to see more missions, the ability to pick up more missions, more mission diversity as well. You go in there and there's like 4 discard missions. You're like, oh, I don't really want to play a discard deck, but it looks like I'm going to have to for a little bit to clear some of these missions out. Maybe more mission diversity, more skips as well would help towards that, and more members as well. Okay, so the next one is themed events, like the previous events that we've had, like Avengers vs X-Men and the Valentine's Day event that we had, which I think was in 2024. I loved those events, man. Getting those buffs to those cards was really cool. It also made you, like, so by the way, if you didn't play the game during that time, I've got the screenshot on here that I got from Google. By the way, a lot of the imagery I got in this video was from like Google, Marvel Snap Zone, or Snap Fan. So shout out to those things. I'm really sorry, I don't mean to steal anything sort of without permission, but it had this. But in the AVX event, it had like Avengers got a boost and X-Men got a boost. So the X-Men one was AVX. Once you play 4 X-Men, they all have +1 power. So you got a bonus, almost like a theme team. You got a bonus for playing a theme team, which is awesome. Again, this is something that would work really well and tie into seasons better as well. And it was just really fun. How about this improvement that we saw in Pokemon Pocket TCG, rental decks? In that game, you can basically unlock decks when you get like, if you get like a certain card, like if you get, for example, there's like a Blaine deck on screen here. If you get like a Moltres in that game, it might unlock an entire rental deck for you. And I think it's something like you can use that rental deck 10 times to try it out. Absolutely fantastic idea. That would be brilliant in Snap. So yeah, that would be really cool to see. Like you could try out like you get a discard deck to rent for 10 games or however many, and you can try out the cards, see if you like them, and then you know which cards you want to go after in your card acquisition. So that's really cool. Something that they've talked about and teased and that we do think is coming, and hopefully it will be in 2025, more game boards. But again, this is the kind of thing that I think we should already have this, to be honest, guys. I think we should probably be getting game boards every season, really, if you're paying for a Battle Pass. A Battle Pass Season Pass, I should say. I mean, it is a Battle Pass, I mean. But if you're paying for a Season Pass, I think you should be getting more rewards like this. And a game board is awesome. They're awesome. Okay, maybe they're not achievable every month for a season, but I'd like just more options to be able to customize your game even further. I think they're awesome, so that'd be cool. Now this next one, guys, this is one of the quick wins I'm talking about. Like, this just seems like such a no-brainer to me. More card backs. Guys, I'm one of the few people, again, one of the few people it may seem, who likes these card backs with the Marvel Snap logo on. I just like the simplicity of it. I think they look cool. Every month we should be getting one of them. We should, like, surely just for free, like as a login reward or whatever, just get a new card back. The examples I've got here are literally just primary colours. I mean, we do already have this red one. But what about just getting plain colour card backs to match the borders available in the game, like a neon green and a ice border or whatever, but the card back version? I think that would be great, and it surely doesn't seem like it would be that much work for them to do. So yeah, and it just, again, something to enhance your deck and make your deck feel more cohesive, and the cosmetic side of it, more invested, blah blah blah. Seems like a good idea to me. Now, ultimate variant improvements, guys, like I have to say, like ultimate variants cost 5,000 tokens. They are such a huge investment, and I just don't think the value is there. And I've bought a couple of them. I bought like because I'm quite a big fan of Kim Jacinto, so I've bought my Nimrod and I've bought the Annihilus. But guys, it does pain me. It did pain me to have to buy them. And I love this Madam Web one. I'd love to get this Madam Web one, but just can't justify it. 5,000 tokens. It seems so crazy. So I think they should improve it. Like, at least give the avatar, right? I can't believe you don't get the avatar for buying the ultimate. Like, that is absolutely crazy. But more so than that, these things are so expensive that they should have. You should get like a custom border with it. They should probably come with custom animations and custom voice lines. And I know that they've discussed some of these things in the past, so I think it was on their plan to do at some point. I don't know if they've seen the numbers, they see that the ultimate variants sell, and so they feel like they don't have to put the extra effort in. I mean, that's me just purely conjecturing. But guys, I think it's a really important thing to reward the high spending like that with some better quality. So that's something I'd really like to see. And of course, be backdated to anyone who has bought them, of course. I mean, the avatar, at the very least, offering the avatar to everyone. Now, this next one, this really does pain me. Better communication and marketing. I think they are starting to get a little bit better with this. But this is just, I've got some example on screen of like comparing Marvel Snap and Marvel Rivals. But basically, I like the developer update videos. I think they're really fun. I think they're really cool. I think they're a little bit too rushed. I think we get loads of information in those videos, but not that much time to sort of gestate on it and really understand it. So I think they could still do those developer update videos, because like I say, you get a lot of information in a fun and creative way, so I think that's good. But maybe pull out some of that information, do more deep dives, more videos with the development team, all of that sort of good stuff I think would be great. But from the marketing side of things, it just feels like Second Dinner don't hype up their own things. They've got this absolutely incredible game that people adore. People adore Marvel Snap. The gameplay is absolutely incredible, but they don't like amp up and promote their own stuff enough. Like if you look at Marvel Rivals, they've got like a winter celebration going on at the moment. There's a load of like winter skins and all that sort of thing, and I think like a winter game mode as well. And they've done like 30 tweets advertising this with like 10 different videos. And if you compare that to Marvel Snap and their sort of current event at the moment, which is maybe not quite as big a deal as the winter event in Marvel Rivals, but High Voltage, it's only the second time we've ever had High Voltage back. There's a brand new card available in it, and they've done one tweet about it, which was like an image and it just said High Voltage is back or something, and it's like, amp up your own stuff more. Like, why isn't there a video with like a deep dive on Lasher? Why isn't there a video with an explanation on High Voltage and talking about good decks to use, all this sort of thing? You also have community members who are more than willing and happy to do videos for them, and yeah, it just feels like Second Dinner they're not excited about their own stuff and want to talk about their own stuff. So yeah, this is something that I really would like to see, because be proud of what you've got and push it out to more people. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments. Now, this one seems minor, but UI improvements. Just a few things, like some examples. More filters. The filters haven't really changed in 2.5 years. We've added lots of different powers and abilities to the game, like Activate, and lots of different concepts, like stealing energy. Well, sorry, stealing power, I should say. But we don't have these filters in there. And like just fixing the filters as well. If you search move, Cyclops comes up because he's got it in his text, which is weird. So yeah, that sort of thing. Scroll to end button. I'm always like cycling through my decks, having to do this with my finger. Yeah, just have. Eh?
Oh, what's that?
Eh?
What was that?
What? She loves it. If you're not laughing, you're learning. Yeah, just scroll to end button. It's just irritating. Just minor things like that would be great. And also, there's been quite a lot of bugs, like saving the things like favourites, having favourite show. Save that. God, more deck slots, guys. I don't know about you. 20 isn't enough. I'm pretty much always full. This is a screenshot of my decks. They're always full. Need more. Moving on from that, we also need, well, we don't need, but it would be bloody nice to have folders for decks. Again, with 20 decks, I'm always scrolling through like that. It'd be good to have actual folders that you'd be able to set up, and better structure and organisation things. Not exciting, but it's important. Then how about unlockable custom splits? So again, customization is such an important part of Marvel Snap. We all love having our own individual collection and expressing ourselves with the style of card that we choose. One thing that would be great is, again, it could maybe be like an Infinity split style, and it's like, oh, custom background, or it definitely needs a better name than that. That was awful. But like maybe like a plain background that you can use, and you can maybe change the colour or tweak it or whatever. That would be really cool. Maybe have it so it matches the border. So then, if you had the card back from earlier, maybe you could have the same background Infinity split, border and card back, and all of your deck would look incredible. Maybe this could even extend to like an overlay on the card logo as well. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that'd be nice. Achievements, guys. Like, again, I think this is harkening back to something I said earlier. I think sometimes in the game there's not enough incentive to play it, or there's like no reason to play the game beyond having fun, which of course we always hope that we have fun whilst we play the game. But these types of games, they need stuff for you to work towards. And one really easy thing that could just be forever is just achievements. And you tick off your achievement. Oh my god. Dying again, guys. Rip in peace and press F5 in the comments. Prayer for me and that. Permanent achievements. It's insane that we don't have this. Again, like, surely this is an easier thing to implement. The example I've got on screen is play 100 X-Men. you have the achievement pop up, you complete it, you get a nice reward or whatever. And you could have different levels of the achievements, like play 100 X-Men, that unlocks the next achievement, or the ability for you to progress towards the next achievement. Maybe play 250 X-Men, play 1,000 X-Men, and it always gives you a reason to play the game, something you're working towards, even when you're doing. Maybe you don't like high voltage, but you do want every new card that you can get your hands on. So you want that lasher. So you're like, okay, I'm working towards this, but maybe because you're not enjoying high voltage, maybe you go, okay, I'll take this as an opportunity to work towards some of my achievements, and I'll just play all X-Men, and at least then I'm chipping away at my X-Men achievement. And maybe the rewards could be like a low one like this, play 100 X-Men, maybe it could be 50 credit. It wouldn't even have to be much, but then maybe they get bigger and bigger rewards. Maybe you get a variant, or you get an X-Men border, that sort of thing. And there could just be a list of so many achievements, and it gives so much reason to play the game. Right, now this is a really specific one, my next thing here, guys. Krackle shaders, okay? And I'll tell you why I'm suggesting it. I should explain what this is first. The ability to tweak the colour of your Krackle effects. And I'm not saying completely change them, I'm just saying tweak. So maybe if you split a card and you unlock the red Krackle, which I've got as an example on screen here with my Penny Parker, which I did just unlock as a red Krackle. Good, I'm explaining this fantastically well so far. But maybe it unlocks the ability to tweak the colour, so you can have either base red Krackle or dark red Krackle or pale red Krackle. And so maybe I've put the example on screen here, I just did a little bit of tweaking in Photoshop. Maybe this is what the dark red Krackle would look like, or maybe it would be called bright red Krackle or something like that. But the ability for you to slightly change the appearance, give you a few different options. The reason I say this is because, God, guys, listen, my favourite colour is green. My favourite colour is green. My favourite colour is actually chartreuse, which is like a yellow-green. But generally speaking, my favourite colour is green. But I have to say, the green Krackle is like the worst Krackle. I really don't like the shade. Like, it's quite dull, quite pale, and it never seems to go well with cards. It particularly goes poorly with gold splits, in my humble opinion, generally speaking. And so I'd love the ability to just tweak that green a little bit. Maybe either make it more chartreuse so it matches the neon green border, or a bit darker so it just looks a bit sleeker. That sort of thing I think would go so far, because it's sort of heartbreaking to get a green Krackle, or it's heartbreaking to get a Krackle that just doesn't look good on a card. So the ability to just give you a few different options when you unlock that colour, I think would be great. And that sort of was the last thing. That I put 25 here is community feedback, but this is sort of a bit of a cheat one. I could only really come up with 24 ideas, but I knew that I wanted to do 25 ideas for 2025. But yeah, please just answer the community survey. I've put everything that I've said in this video, I've put in this survey, so go and answer it. It'll be awesome to see what you would like to see from this list of features. Or is there anything that I haven't mentioned that you'd like to see in the game in 2025? Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Weird ending. Very weird ending. Good.